Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Today it's a great pleasure for me to be with you all here. I don't know whether I can say that in the subtle way, I invoke all of you to Mount Abu, the headquarters of Brahma Kumaris. And it is such a wonderful time here in Mount Abu. The winter is starting, when not as cold as it is in Vancouver, but we have a very pleasant weather at this time. And this is the best time that we can experience God's love. Definitely. I thank Sister Claudia and all the brothers and sisters who are present at this time, listening to this wonderful topic which Sister Claudia has suggested to speak on. Experiencing God's love. And I feel this is my favorite topic because I always like to be immersed in God's love, because that is the fortune we receive in this time only. Rest of the time we are always trying to invoke God, pray to Him, always without understanding, knowing Him. We call out to Him. We meditate, but we don't know exactly where to focus our minds. And that is why there is this feeling as if we haven't experienced fully what God's love is. But in order to experience God's love, I would say that we all have this experience of experiencing love from human beings. And when it comes to human beings, we don't just love anyone, but first of all, we try to know the person, we get introduced to one another, we come closer, and then we have a relationship, maybe of a friend, maybe as a lover, maybe as a brother and sister, any relationship. And as we come closer to one another on the basis of that relationship, then the love starts emerging. And on the basis of this love, we all know when people come close to one another initially, that love is so altruistic, no expectations, no feeling of getting something, no possessiveness. It is so pure in the initial stage. Gradually, then, there are expectations, there are so much of selfishness, motives, intentions, possessiveness, and that is what we call as the impure form of love. But in the initial stage, when it is so pure, where there is no expectations, completely altruistic, and no possessiveness, then we feel as if it's the best gift that we have received from a friend. Similarly, we all want to experience God's love. And why we want to experience God's love? Because we know that His love is also completely altruistic, no expectations from us, no possessiveness, but always with that feeling of benevolence, giving, giving, giving. So we feel as if we are blessed. And that is why in today's world, when we see around that there is no pure love, there is so much of lust in that love. So people are gradually, they get fed up maybe with that love. They feel as if this is not what they have thought about. This is not what they wanted. So, in order to experience God's love, the first thing is I have to know and understand Him as He is and as I am. I have to know and understand myself in a better way. And when I understand myself in a better way, I know Him in His original self. That is when we come closer. Now I've realized this body is just a costume that I've put on to play my role. But basically, I am a pure being. I'm a soul. And so when I realize myself in that true form of being a light, the embodiment of divinity, then I visualize Him also as such. He is also the supreme light, a divine light. And He is also the ocean of divinity. So, realizing that form, now the second step is, do I have a relationship with Him? Yes, in the path of bhakti, we have always been calling out to Him as, Thou art my mother and father. But have I really experienced Him as a mother and father? Thou art my friend, my beloved, my brother, my sister. But have I ever experienced that closeness of that relationship? Or have I always seen Him as someone who is very high, beyond my reach, and I am so low in this world? I just glance from below upwards. He is somewhere up above, very far, far away. So when there was no closeness, no relationship, how can that love emerge? So the first thing is, let me stabilize myself in that consciousness of being a soul. And when I'm in this consciousness, all other consciousness of different roles just vanish away. And I'm in my true, pure consciousness of being a divine being. This consciousness is like a platform from where I take the flight. I take the mind on this journey towards Him, realizing that He is also the supreme divine being. Secondly, in the world it is said, God is truth. So What does God love? God loves truth. So when I relate myself to Him, it should be on this basis of true relationship. Which relationship I like most, I can establish that with Him. When I feel, yes, He is, I need a companion in my life, I see Him as my true companion. If I feel I'm lacking a friend, a true friend, let me accept Him as a true friend. If a person needs a beloved, let me accept Him as my beloved. Whichever relationship, we feel as if I'm constantly missing in my life and I feel like I want to experience that relationship, I can connect myself on the basis of that relationship with God. In India, there is a beautiful prayer in Sanskrit which says, Tvameva matascha pita tvameva, Tvameva bandhuscha sakha tvameva, Tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva, Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Which means, you are my mother and father, you are my true friend and a brother, you are my teacher, my guru, from where I can grant that real knowledge. I have all my relationships with you. That is the complete meaning of that Sanskrit prayer. And yes, during the day also, maybe I may not relate to Him on the basis of just one relationship, but I can experience various relationships. When I get up in the morning, I would like to say good morning to my mom and dad, so accepting Him as my mother and father. Then let me do some spiritual study, or when I go out, let me take Him as my friend, experience Him as my beloved. And during the day also, if I get some challenges which I have to overcome, if there are obstacles that come in my way, and from those obstacles, from those challenges, I learn a valuable lesson. This is God's way of giving me valuable lessons in life so that I become experienced every step. And then when I become that embodiment of experience, nothing can deceive me in life. So He is my teacher and Satguru who blesses me, He teaches me. And with those blessings, I'm able to overcome all those challenges in life. That is a wonderful part. The moment you become victorious upon those challenges, upon those obstacles, you cross them with that victory. That is when you really thank Him from the bottom of your heart. So to experience God's love, it's not just like in the physical form, but the experience is also very subtle. Sometimes some people get frustrated We are getting problems one after the other, some situations, some challenges. Every day we have to encounter with something which is so difficult. And sometimes some people also have this complaint. Again, 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 I have to go through all this. Why is it me only? Why do I have to go through all these trials in life, one after the other? It reminds me of an incident that recently we had a senior official in Mount Abu, and he was sharing his experience. And he said that as soon as I passed my university, I got the degree, and immediately some people came for placement in my university campus. They were from a bank. So because I had done my degree in banking, so I was very happy, and they recruited me. I got the joining letter and everything. I was very happy. People don't get jobs so easily. And as soon as I've finished my university, I've got the degree and I've got the job as well. He was very happy. And he was appointed as an assistant manager in the bank. And he was like full of enthusiasm that I will do my best, I'll give my best. And when I will sincerely do my job, definitely, I'll get an increment also, I'll get some promotion also. And I have got a very beautiful future. With these promotions, someday I'll become a branch manager, someday I'll become the manager, someday I'll just go further forward and become a district manager as well. So many dreams he had. And it was nothing wrong to dream in that way, definitely. He was doing his job so sincerely. Everything was going on very well. He was very happy. But something came up, and there was a huge fraud that was done in the bank of thousands of dollars. And you won't believe, the whole blame came onto that person. And he was least aware about it. What the politics was going on in the bank, he was least aware of it. And how he was made a victim of it. It came up in all the newspapers, all the television, that this person has done a great fraud and money laundering and everything. So much of blah, blah, blah in the newspapers. And finally, he was forced to give resignation, leave that bank. Just couldn't understand. He was very upset, he was very disturbed. His family members started consoling him. Don't worry, you'll get something beautiful. You'll get something nice, better than this. Don't worry. But he said that, I don't know how I was made a victim. And I know nothing about the whole thing. He got no answers. Gradually, so many negative thoughts was coming in his mind, and he was entering into a state of depression. People would console him. Doesn't matter, you'll get a good job. Another one. Just try harder. Whenever there is any appointment or any advertisement about any vacancy, people would immediately bring that information to him. Just go and try for this. But whenever he would go there, people, when they saw his face, they saw the face on the television. So they will immediately ask him, are you the same person who was in that whole thing about the bank? Which really disturbed him. And immediately they would say, no, we would not like to hire such a person. And he would be rejected. He could not justify himself. He could not explain that he doesn't know about it and how he became a victim. He couldn't explain to anyone. When he was rejected from 4-5 places, he really went into that state of depression. He had a friend who was a collector in a senior official government. So when he came to see him, he saw his friend in a very depressed state. So he just started talking to him and said, look, this is not the end of life. Don't generate negative thoughts in your mind. On the contrary, you were a bright student since childhood. You had very good general knowledge. So I have brought this form for you. Why don't you fill in this form for Indian Administrative Services? So gradually, he was trying to refuse, but when he was forced, he reluctantly signed it. Just for a change, he started giving the exams, started preparing himself for the Indian Administrative Services. He started passing one after the other exams. All exams were passed. And finally, he became a collector. So then he said, today I understand why this whole thing came up for me, because God was maybe not happy where I was happy. He wanted to give me something more. He wanted to give me something extra, according to my capacities, according to my potential, which I was not aware of. I was so happy there. I was trying to see dreams of moving forward in that direction. But God had something higher than what I had thought about. That is God's love. When He tries to give me something extra than whatever I have, or whatever I am happy in, He says, no, not that is not for you. For you, I have planned something special. Just as those parents who love their children so much, whatever the children expect, they have something more to give them. And that's the happiness they see on the child's face. And the child would feel, my parents, they love me so much. They love me so much. I ask for this much and they give me this much. That's God's love. His way of loving is also such. All those challenges, the trials, whatever they come in life, in those trials, in those challenges, in those obstacles, in those problems, it is like as if He's giving me a puzzle to solve so that my experience increases, my intellectual capacities flourish more, increase more, my inner potential is pushed to the extreme limits where I understand this is the capacity I have. And that's when people say, thank God. Thank God. He loves me so much. His way of loving is unique. And the moment we feel this, we start feeling this, there is so much of inner happiness, inner contentment. And when He loves us in that way, we also are filled with that love for God. Experience God's love, as I said, what does He like? He likes truth. So let me, every day before going to bed, let me share with Him everything that happened during the day, whatever problems we encountered with, whatever challenges we encountered with, whatever things we learned, whatever things we gained, whatever things we felt as if we were losing, let me share with Him every day. Some people have this habit of writing a diary every day, whatever happened. And then in the end, they would thank God for whatever you have given me. That was the best. So similarly, if I share with Him whatever happened during the whole day with true heart, that's what He loves. He loves that. There is a beautiful saying in Indian language, Sache Dil Par Sahab Raji, is always happy where there is a true heart. And He loves those who are truthful. Those who have falsehood in them, they can never receive God's love. There's also a saying, Sach to be tonach. Those who are truthful at heart, true at heart, they always are light and they keep on dancing. So in order to experience God's love and dance in happiness with Him, I have to be true at heart. That truth should always be flowing in my relationships with everyone, whoever I meet. If I have a dual personality, inside there is something, outside on my lips there is that sweetness, but inside my heart there is something else. I think God would not love those dual personalities. But those who have only one personality, inside and outside, they are loved by God. So the first thing is to be in that consciousness. Secondly is to be true at heart so that you can be seated on His heart throne. Those who are true at heart, God gives the place that they can be seated on my heart throne. And it is so privileged to sit on God's heart throne, to win His heart, always to experience that closeness with Him. Really, we feel as if we are so blessed. The third step is He's full of all qualities. So naturally, just as it is said, like things attract. So when He is full of all qualities, if I also live my life on the basis of values, definitely like poles attract. I can come closer to Him and I can experience His love. He will shower that love on me because He also likes those who are living a value-based life. Values should be so dear to me to my heart. And we win his heart. Those who have all negativities in them, vices in them, definitely are not pulled by God. So in order to win God's heart and get his blessings from the heart, definitely my life should be such. And I think that life with values gives us great inner contentment, gives us so much of satisfaction, rather than having that greed, attachment, consciousness of the body, ego consciousness. Those people, ultimately, they suffer a lot in their life. And by the time they realize, if only I could have led this life on the basis of values, but it's too late then. Trying to be egoistic, trying to be greedy, trying to be always an angry person, definitely these vices, they are such a big barrier which does not allow me to experience God's love. So let me just be like him. He's full of values, he's the ocean of all divine qualities. Let me inculcate some of those qualities and lead a life based on those qualities. And we don't have to think about him, he thinks for us. He loves us. It reminds me of that story where there was a young boy, 5 years old. One day he went to the church and he saw a priest folding his hands and praying to God. So that small child was very good at imitating. So immediately he also stood by him. Just like him, he also folded his hands and started uttering something inside. He saw the priest uttering something inside. So he started uttering something inside. When the priest finished his prayers, this young boy also finished. It is very astonishing. So the priest asked that boy, so what did you tell God? So this small boy said, what did you speak to God? So the priest said, well, I was saying my prayers. So this young boy also said, I was also saying my prayers. So the priest wanted to know which prayer he said. So he said, which prayer did you say to God? And the boy asked, which prayer did you say? So the priest said his prayers in front of the boy. The boy was smiling and said, well, I was saying ABCD in front of God. I was telling him, I was reciting my alphabets, A to Z. So the priest laughed at him and said, well, this is not the place to recite your alphabets. So the young boy was very clever, said, I don't know whether this is the place to recite my alphabets or not, but I know that in your prayer also, they were this 26 letters of the alphabets only. They were placed in a very nice way, maybe in form of sentences, in form of beautiful words. I said this alphabets directly to him, and in the end I told him, whichever way you like, He can place them in form of sentences and understand my feelings from the heart. Who is loved more, a priest or that small child? Definitely everyone would say, because he was not expecting anything from those prayers. Oh God, grant me this blessing, give me this blessing, that I am able to earn more, I am able to get this prosperity in my life. No. Whenever we establish a true relationship, there is nothing to expect. Because wherever there are expectations, and if they are not fulfilled, we'll get disheartened. So instead of begging from him, let me just put my pure feelings in front of him. Pure feelings of love. And according to my worthiness, he would bless me with that. Just as in the world also, a child, if he is worthy, the parents would give him everything. But if the child is not worthy, they make sure he gets those things only which are useful for him. They won't give out everything to him. But if the child is worthy, the parents can give him. They know he's not going to spend in a he's going to spend in a worthwhile way only. So they are least worried about him. But if he is unworthy, parents are also constantly worried about him. What is he doing? They put a check every moment, maybe, so that the child does not wander away on a wrong path. Similarly, let me show my worthiness on the basis of these values and see how he's going to shower with his blessings. He's going to shower with his love every now and then. So, to experience God's love, that worthiness has to be developed. And when I'm worthy, when I don't expect anything from him, I know he's going to give me according to my worthiness and my capacity. Let me fulfill all his desires. What is God's desire? To be such a person like him. So that everyone would say, it's just like God's angel. It's just like God's angel. When sometimes we see our parents so loving, so beautiful, normally people say that to get such a parents, they are blessed. They are like angels of God who have come down for you especially, to look after you, to be your guiding angel every moment. So similarly, let me be a worthy child of God. And my worthiness will enable me to win his heart and always experience his love showering upon me. That is the best part, because those who are able to feel God's love, they are so unique. They are so beautiful that they always feel as if it is so nice that they got this blessing from him in their life. So any questions? This is such a beautiful subject. We can go on and on, but we have some time limit in this world also. So if you have any questions, then we shall answer those questions now.
Thank you so much, Usha Didi. Yes, if you have any questions, please bring it on. You can put on the chat box. But yeah, it was so beautifully explained that how we can bring that worthiness of feeling, experiencing God's love based upon that total faith on God. And so beautifully, Didi explained that innocent heart, pure feelings, and qualities inculcated. So that's beautiful and very deep subject. And truly, I'm sure most of us are experiencing feeling so good at the moment. Um, but if you have any questions, so there is one question actually. Kalpana Thakur is saying how to stay stable in soul consciousness, and there are more
So,
questions.
yeah, soul consciousness, the first thing, soul consciousness does not mean that we just go on repeating, I'm a soul, I'm a soul, I'm a beautiful soul, I'm a divine soul. No, that cannot bring us into that consciousness. But soul consciousness, just as when a person is body conscious or a person is ego conscious, how do you come to know that a person is ego conscious? On the basis of his behavior. And what is in the behavior? In the behavior, you feel as if there is some vices, some weaknesses that are there in his behavior with others. Either he gets angry, either there is jealousy, either there is hatred, trying to prove himself that he is the best. So, whenever a person in a detached manner would listen to all that, would say, he's so egoistic. He can't see anyone better than him. So, wherever there are vices, there are weaknesses in our interaction, in our behavior, in our nature, that is body consciousness. So, what is soul consciousness? Soul consciousness is when we are the embodiment of the seven divine qualities. When we know that the soul is basically a pure soul, a very happy soul, uh, blissful, loveful, peaceful.
So
Behavior in my interaction with people. Mm. So, those seven qualities, when that energy is flowing constantly, that is what is called as soul consciousness. In action, when I'm sitting in meditation and I'm soul conscious, means I become the embodiment of those seven qualities and allow those vibrations just radiate, just flow
so
constantly. That is soul consciousness.
so through meditation we can develop that more and more.
Mm.
Meditation and
The
paying
awareness, the awareness I generate in myself, I am a divine being, I am a happy being, I'm a pure being. This awareness, the more it is generated, the more I'm able to stabilize in that consciousness.
Yes, thank you so much, Didi. There is one more question coming along that line, that how to make yourself not react to however the worst situation is.
Yeah. Reaction is a weakness. Just as physically, if you are weak, if your body physical immunity is low, then what would happen? Any change in weather, and immediately the body starts reacting in the way there is cough, cold, fever. That is the reaction the body generates. So, similarly, when reactions of weaknesses start coming up, anger, jealousy, hatred, all these reactions emerge, that shows that the spiritual immunity is very low. So, when the spiritual immunity is low, then we react in form of anger, in form of jealousy, in form of hatred, in form of um, so many other weaknesses, greed, attachment, whatever we can say. So, reaction means weakness. That's why when people react, when people get angry, what would they say afterwards when they realize? They say, this is the only weakness I have. So, this weakness, is it the weakness of the body or the soul? Definitely, it's not the weakness of the body, it's the weakness of the soul. So, that means I lack power. That is why I react. I do not have the power of silence, maybe. I do not have the power of peace. That is why I get angry. I react. So it is a signal whenever we react, in whichever way we react, it's a signal I'm lacking this power. And during these days of Navratri, Navratri means invoking power. So invoke that power from the source. So connect yourself with Baba, invoke that power, let it just flow, fill yourself, and then you see. Well, it's not an overnight process. Yes, that today in my meditation, I invoke that power. So immediately, if that situation comes, I won't react. But maybe the reaction will be the, the force of that weakness would come down slowly, gradually. Because immediately that awareness would arise that I'm a peaceful being. So the more I generate that strength of peace, happiness, love inside, then I overcome those weaknesses. And overcoming those weaknesses means that reaction comes down. Okay?
Yeah, so beautifully explained. So we have to invoke and continue with the process from bringing it from within. So there was another question like that. So that answers definitely that how to keep yourself calm no matter what the situation is. So there are some other type of questions too. And there is one question: what is the difference in our love for God and with our children? So what is the difference in our love with God and our love for our
Yes. Well, in our love for the children, there is always an expectation that I love my child, and when he grows up, he would take care of me, he would do this to me, he would always have this feeling that my parents have done so much for me. So definitely he will also. So this expectations is always subtly also. That is an expectation.
Mm.
But for God's love, we love him because we feel as if we are his on the basis of that relationship. But if we start loving God also on the basis of some or the other expectation, that he would bless me with this, he would give me this, like normally what people do when they go to temples, oh God, grant me this, let my wish come true. Now that is expectations only. If it is fulfilled, I'm so happy. But if it is not fulfilled, so let me not remember God on the basis of those expectations. Otherwise, I'll get disheartened. Because if my worthiness is not that much, definitely He would not give me. Like if your child, is asking for something, but his worthiness is not that much. What would you say? Get older a little bit. Like I remember in my childhood, I passed my 10th exams. And when I passed my 10th exams, before I was going for the exam, my father said, if you come first, I will give you whatever you want. So I came first. I did a lot of efforts. I came first. And then he said, okay, what do you want? So I said, I want a bike. Huh? I want to drive a bike. So he knew that my age is also not that I won't get a license. I won't be able to drive. Maybe the roads are such in India. So he said, do one thing. Take this bicycle. Just practice on this. When you're worthy, when you get practice, then maybe you can go for the bike or you can go for the four-wheeler. So sometimes we expect from God so much, but if my worthiness is not that much, He will give me less. So I may get disheartened. I may get disheartened. But ultimately, if I realize, I know He gave me according to my capacities only. So with God's love, in order to experience God's love, I have to be true at heart, increase my worthiness, and He would give me. I know there is no need for me to have expectations. He would give beyond my expectations. But with the children also, we love them on the basis of those expectations. And when they do not fulfill those expectations, what happens? People always feel as if he doesn't have any feeling whatever I have done for him. But why did we expect, or we did all those things? We did that sacrifice. We did everything with those expectations. Definitely will get disheartened, right?
Right. So we have to resolve expectation and bring total faith,
Yes. Yeah.
work on the self worthiness. That's beautifully explained. There's one more question. Does God love us as a soul or the body with a soul? It's an interesting question.
Actually, God's love is towards the soul only because He does not have any body consciousness. So He would not love on the basis of bodies, seeing the bodies, no matter the body is whatever type, you know. Some people may feel, oh, because I'm so dark in color, I'm like this, I'm disabled, so maybe He doesn't love me. No, He loves them more, I think. So He does not see the bodies and He does not love on the basis of bodies. Loving on the basis of bodies and the color and the differences is human nature. His nature is He sees the heart, He sees the soul, and He sees how much the soul is pure. So He loves the souls, not the bodies.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you, Didi. There is a elaborated question. Varsaven says, our intellect is a result of our past sanskars, which is gifted as a component of soul at birth. So if you strive to change your sanskars, you need to work on intellect. And how do you accomplish that?
Yeah, on the basis of means let us inculcate wisdom in the intellect. The moment I start inculcating spiritual wisdom in my in my intellect, definitely on the basis of that I'll be able to work deeply on my sanskars also. When I inculcate that, that definitely would have a little bit of war inside. There'll be struggle because the past sanskars do not want to leave, do not want to give up. But on the basis of the spiritual wisdom, that is being inculcated in the intellect, the intellect wants to get that removed because now it understands things in a different way. So the intellect says, no, this is not going to go on. So you'll have to leave. I will replace this. So when we replace that in our action, when we bring that spiritual wisdom in practical action, then those deep rooted scars definitely starts getting uprooted, and I'll be able to bring a total change in my personality also. So the spiritual wisdom, that's why every day we need to listen to the spiritual discourse. The moment I listen every day, because it's not going to just work one day you listen and then it's okay, fine, you have uprooted those sanskars. No, it has to be a continuous process every day, as if just as we take bath every day, we wash ourselves every day. Similarly, we need to flush ourselves, the soul also from inside, with this spiritual inputs. So the spiritual discourse every day on the basis of what we listen, then gradually is working at the uh, deep level, at the level of my attitude, at the level of my awareness. Once it goes into the awareness, then it goes into the attitude, it goes into your perception, it goes into your feelings. At every level, it starts cleansing at every level. And then those deep rooted sanskars are uprooted. Let us turn our attention away from the external world, focus within, in the center of the forehead, and realize with awareness that I am a divine being, a divine soul. This body is just like a costume that I've put on to play my role, but I am separate. Slowly and gradually, we stabilize ourselves in that soul consciousness, being the embodiment of all divine qualities, constantly radiating the pure energy out of being in this soul consciousness. I feel that lightness within. The mind and body, intellect becomes an instrument for me to travel on a journey to the subtle region. where with my mind's eye I visualize the Supreme Being. I take drishti from him, and through his drishti, which is so loving, completely altruistic, that energy of love just flows into my being. Such a pure love, which we can experience only at this time. And not the entire cup. Slowly and gradually, I feel filled inside. I don't have to beg from him, but just as the sun constantly radiates, and whoever stands out in the sun is filled with that warmth, that energy. Similarly, when I focus my attention on the Supreme, slowly and gradually, God's love, His light fills me from within. Om is my real form. I am Om. I attract the divine power, the power of love, power of peace, power of happiness within me. Slowly and gradually, I turn my attention back to this physical world in the center of the forehead. And I feel completely empowered, recharged, relaxed. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
भगवन, पलक में भर के दिखा रहे हम, फलक से हम यही गा रहे। कराने वाला करा रहा है, करनहार हम किए जा रहे। झलक तुम्हारी ओ प्यारे भगवन, पलक में भर के दिखा रहे हम, फलक से हम यही गा रहे। कराने वाला करा रहा है, करनहार हम किए जा रहे। करनहार हम किए जा रहे। ओ झलक तुम्हारी ओ प्यारे भगवन। हमारी रक्षा किए जा रहे। कराने वाला करा रहा है, करनहार हम किए जा रहे। झलक तुम्हारी ओ प्यारे भगवन। प्रसन्न प्रभु की पालना से तुम ही बने हो हमारे पालक। वाह जो है सारे जग का मालिक, हम उसके प्यारे बने हैं बालक। हुक्म ही हुक्म चला रहा है, हम सच्चे दिल से किए जा रहे। कराने वाला करा रहा है, करनहार हम किए जा रहे। करनहार हम किए जा रहे। ओ झलक तुम्हारी ओ प्यारे भगवन। तेरे हवाले कश्ती हमारी, बड़े प्यार से लिए जा रहे। कराने वाला करा रहा है, करनहार हम किए जा रहे। ओ झलक तुम्हारी ओ प्यारे भगवन। पलक में भर के दिखा रहे